In this video, I'm going to share with you one of my favorite stress management techniques that you can use to not only reduce stress and anxiety, but actually change your mood. Change your mood into a more relaxed state, a more joyful state. And what is that special technique? It's using your nose, the power of smell. If you're new here, my name is Lori Soleil. I'm the one moms call when they're finally ready to prioritize their self-care. So this channel is dedicated to personal development, and more importantly, I love learning about leading edge ways to make positive, lasting changes in your life. So these are the kinds of tips and strategies I love sharing with you. Here's the reason why this is such an important thing to do, my friend, to bring in fragrances in order to shift your state of mind. So here's what I got from the Harvard Gazette, their newspaper. Smells are handled by the olfactory bulb. It's the structure in the front of the brain that sends information to the other areas of the body's central command for further processing. Odors or scents take a direct route to the limbic system, which includes the amygdala and the hippocampus, the regions related to emotion and memory. This is so powerful, and I'm going to show you what I actually share with my clients when they come in for session. So when I work with my clients, I share with them all of these sorts of, again, leading edge strategies. And one of the favorite things I love to do with them is to help them pick out a fragrance. So what they typically do is let me show you first my essential oil. Well, this is just like, I don't know, probably a quarter of my essential oil collection. But what they would do is they would take some time to pick out fragrances that they felt emotionally connected with. So I would ask them to find an emotion or decide on sort of an emotion that they're wanting to activate more often. So this is sort of the stress management technique I was talking about. So they loved it. They would sit and they would smell through all of the fragrances. They might find one or two that they actually really liked that we could combine. And then we would just get one of these little tubes. So if I was to pop off the bottom, there's a little foam piece on the inside, and we would dip that foam piece into the fragrance and then put it inside the tube so that they could use it. And this was to help them reset. But then they started to realize the power of fragrance, and they began to pay attention to fragrances all around them, the things that they were wearing, the candles that they would be lighting. Then we could find memories and find the fragrances associated with the memories. Remember what that past slide said was that fragrance taps into the hippocampus, which is our memory bank. So, of course, it makes sense when we're baking and we smell certain spices, it takes us back to those memories when we might have been baking with our parents or our grandparents. So that's the power of smell. The other thing that it can do, because again, that previous slide talked about how the olfactory bulb in the nose is connected to the limbic system or the amygdala. Now, the amygdala is the part of the brain that is sort of our alert system, and it tends to get overactivated. So when we can calm the amygdala down, if we've been stressed out, something happened, something triggered us, we can use fragrance to calm the system down. Isn't that powerful? So I have a couple fragrances and different kinds of things that you wouldn't probably think of to help you reset your system. Here are some scents that create a psychological shift. First, I want to just make sure you understand that neuroscience shows that we have physiological and physical and actually emotional shifts in our body when we smell things. That's the power of our sense of smell. And there are things happening now, here talking about cutting edge. There are companies coming out now. One is called Edinist, and they are creating a new industry called functional fragrances. This is where they're actually doing brain scans to figure out the molecules that are activating certain emotional and physiological states in our body. It's insanely cool, actually. This is how powerful this is. So this new industry called functional fragrances, you're going to start to see that around. You're going to start to see it in different stores where you can actually go in and smell different things to activate certain emotional states. They might even create something for you, specifically for you. You can have that done at some point. However, you can do it now. You can take essential oils and do the same thing. And just keep in mind that essential oils, you're going to test them out and make sure that you're not allergic to them. You'll have to go through your process around that. But here's some scents that I thought were super cool that could help you shift. So the first one is lemongrass. Lemongrass is a really beautiful scent. It's very earthy. One of my favorite fragrances is bergamot. It has kind of a citrus earthy smell. Lemon is a great smell. It helps you clear your head and helps you focus more. Vanilla, related to baking, kind of what I talked about with the different kinds of spices and things that we're using. So vanilla is one of those fragrances that can shift your emotional and physiological state. Lavender has always been very much associated with relaxation and helping you sleep a little bit better. But these last two I really like. And the suntan lotion I can totally relate to. When I was a kid, we had Coppertone. That was the sunscreen we used back in the day before there were like 100 different ones to choose from. So I can smell that suntan lotion, Coppertone, and it takes me straight back to when I was a kid and we were going to the beach. And then the last one, cucumbers, I thought was kind of interesting too as I was researching this for you. Cucumbers, the smell of cucumbers harkens back to those days. Harkens, that's funny I said that. That's kind of a funny word. Harkens back to those days when we were having picnics. Takes us back to when we were kids, back to days when maybe it was less stressful in our life. So play around with fragrance. I wanted to give you this list because I thought these were cool, but if you even do a search, you'll find all kinds of different scents and fragrances that can be recommended for different things. One more thing. Regarding stress management and self-care, I always recommend really doing a fine tune with your boundaries. Boundaries are one of the pillars of self-care. Most people actually could probably benefit from creating better boundaries. So I have something to help. Down in the comments section below, I have a link to some free training where I'm giving you 3 different videos on 3 different specific tips and strategies that I personally enjoy that actually helped me heal from chronic fatigue. So check it out down below in the comments section.